What's going on, you guys? Today we're going to be installing some rear shocks in the C55. The Sachs OEM ones are still riding pretty good, but the reason that I went with the ones I did, KYB Gas-A-Just, is because I've heard they have a stiffer dampening rating and a quicker rebound rating from looking online and doing a little bit of research. So with the new setup with the spacers and everything, the new setup with tires and everything, I want to make sure that I'm not compressing to end up rubbing the tires on the fender walls or fender outside skirts. So yeah, I figured I would run kind of a stiffer shock. They have a mixed bag of reviews as far as Mercedes applications. Overall, they have good reviews from people, but the people that I have seen that have used them on Mercedes weren't necessarily looking for like a sporty application. They were more just like trying to replace regular shocks with these, and I think they tend to be disappointed because they rode too firm. But as you guys know, we're trying to build this into a track car kind of on a budget, so I figured they might work for this application. And because they were on sale at Rock Auto for 40 bucks a piece, I figured, what the heck, why not? I'll try them out. They're super easy to swap in and out, so if I really think they're terrible, I'll just swap the Sachs ones back in. We'll see what kind of shape the Sachs ones are once we get them out and compress them and see how much they're still got to give as far as their life goes. Pretty sure they're originals front and rear, so they've definitely had their fair share of miles, almost approaching 160. So they're pretty old, but the car still rides pretty good, so I can't complain about that very much. But I figured, you know, it was a worthy 80 buck upgrade that we'll see if it improves, and if it doesn't, we'll look at other options. But yeah, anyways, see you guys in the garage in a second. All right, we didn't really record the process. We're trying to work fast, but here's the OEM Shocks. These are Sachs. They have the H42 on them, and then the part number. Let's see if that'll focus. Almost. There we go. 208-323-0198. And these are the Sachs designated for the C55 specifically. We replaced them with KYB Gas-A-Just model. I can put the part number down below. They were a little bit different in the setup. They came with different style bushings. We ended up reusing the top Mercedes bushing and then using the KYB supplied one for the bottom underneath. So I'll show you guys. So we used the factory bushing underneath the bar and the washer right there, and then we used the rubber and the washer that came with the KYB down below. Everything down here bolted up fine, it fits fine, no wiggling, and compression seemed pretty good when I compared it to the other ones. The other ones are pretty old, so yeah, we'll see how it goes once I get it on the ground. This is the factory that goes right here, so that's what we replaced. All right, guys, so we just finished up. Just going on the first little test drive right now. So far, it feels very good. Not bad. I'll put this up so you guys can hear me. Yeah, it feels good. Smooth. It's definitely firm. The biggest reason I did this, I went with the KYB Gas-A-Just. I know KYB's like the base model ones are not very good, but the Gas-A-Just actually had really good reviews, kind of across the board of a different range of vehicles. They're more popular in like the Toyota scene, especially like 4Runners and things like that. But the reviews, I only saw like 2 or 3 for Mercedes applications, but it was people who had, like, one of them had a W208 CLK like 320 or something like that, and they weren't happy with them because they were too stiff. So I could see why, if you're coming from a car like that and you're just trying to replace stock suspension, you're not going to be happy. But in me reading that, I was like, okay, if they think it's too stiff, then it might be good for the C55 application. So When I saw them go on sale on Rock Auto, they were like 44 bucks or something shipped. So the pair of them was like 90 bucks shipped, or 90 bucks plus shipping. It was probably like $10-12 for shipping. I felt like it'd be a good try. So I think long run, I'm gonna eventually do some type of coilover setup, at least in the front. So I figure for the time being, these would be worth, you know, 90 bucks worth an investment to try out. I'm pretty sure I can still sell those stock shocks. That's a mouthful. These stock shocks, I'm pretty sure I can still sell them for at least 90 bucks themselves, because they're very hard to find. Sachs does not make them anymore in that specific dampening and everything. They were kind of a one-off for the C55. So I'm pretty sure I can still sell them and make my money back that I paid for these. And in the meantime, I get you know, a pretty good value and a good, what seems to be a very good riding shock right now. I also swapped out the rear 75mm extended studs for the 90mm, like I said I was going to in the last video for the wheels. That's just because I didn't want to be riding on the max spacer limit that's called for the 75mm studs. The 90mm max is 25mm spacers, and I'm using, sorry, I passed a slow guy. I'm using the 20mm spacers, so not meeting the max, so happy about that. Tip for you guys, if you do end up using some type of Loctite on the studs when you're putting them in, when you go to take them out, if you know you're going to take them out, go for like a quick drive, or not quick drive, like 10-15 minutes at least, and just get the brakes heated up and the whole rotor or the hub assembly kind of hot, and that way the Loctite will kind of break down, and it makes it easier to you know, take out the threaded studs. Because I did the right side when it was all warm, came out fine, and then when I went to do the left side, by the time the car had cooled down, I kind of took a break in between. The left side was very hard to get out, and I had to use a heat gun to kind of heat them up as I was taking them out, so it took a little longer than it should have. So yeah, tip for you guys, get the car hot before you try to take them out if you're using some type of Loctite on them. Yeah, this is the car right now. It's riding good. You guys can, I don't know, see if you guys can tell the difference from the video. I don't know, that'd be very hard to tell from a video, but it feels very firm, very planted. It doesn't feel much different than stock, to be honest. It is sitting about a 1/4 to 1/2 inch higher, which I wanted, just because I'm running the spacers now. I wanted to know for sure that the wheels are far away from the fender wells, so they're not rubbing, and this grants just that little extra space, just in case I have people in the back of the vehicle or whatnot. I don't have to worry about it rubbing. So that was the other big reason I wanted to put the KYBs in, is because I had read that they do you know, sometimes raise the height by about 1/2 inch, and I think that more so has to do with the thicker rubber bushing they provide. It's a little taller than the stock one. So I think that has to do with a little bit of that. So we'll see how they break in over time, but for now, that's where they're sitting, and sitting good. And I'll give you guys a quick little launch right here and see how the back squats. Drop it down to first. I'm not gonna go very fast. I'll probably get up to like 30 miles per hour. I'm about to get on the freeway in a little bit, but I just want to see how it feels. Quick little pull. Man, it's finally starting to get nice out. Summer has been late blooming here up in Washington. It's it kind of happened last year. I kind of feel like the seasons are actually, it rides a lot better. Wow, that's impressive. I'm really starting to tell the more I do that. Wow, that feels really good. I'm happy. So overall, I'm sorry I didn't record much of the shock stuff while I was doing it. We were trying to work quick. I can post a link below for the Mercedes UK videos. They always do a really good job. Let me get I'll get a little pull onto the freeway. Yeah, handles well. I like it. Some of that, I don't think I mentioned in the last video. I think I cut that part out because I was talking on and on, but so I had been experiencing a little bit of kind of walking in the rear, and I think it is in part because of my subframe bushings are a little bit bad, but a lot of that is gone right now. So maybe it was from the shocks not being kind of up to spec anymore. They weren't blown by any means, but they were definitely pretty easy to compress. So yeah, they were pretty tired. It still got life in them for sure. Like, you could use them on a stock Mercedes and be really happy with the ride, I'm sure, but for the firmness that this car that I wanted to have and that should require to meet OEM, I don't think they were there anymore. So yeah, that walking, because that's the same place that happened to me last time, wasn't in the video, but when you make a turn and you're getting on it, it was kind of walking in the back, you could tell, and it didn't do that right there. So happy about that. Everything feels good, man. So I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with the fronts. I keep debating back and forth of what I want to do, if I want to just replace it with some struts. You know, I don't need the adjustability of coilovers per se if I get the correct dampening and everything that I want. I mean, coilovers are great, but like, they're not always necessary. So if I can find something for the front, I want to get something other than Bilstein. I know Sachs has one on FCP Euro that's rated for the W203 with sport suspension, but I don't know how those would compare with the actual ones that they produce for the C55 as far as the valving and the dampening and everything. So I was going to give FCP a call actually and just see what they would recommend to kind of replicate the stock OEM feel, because to be honest, the C55 has a great suspension, like just the struts and the shocks that come on it. I don't think you're gonna, as far as coilover, I don't think you're gonna upgrade, like as far as dampening goes and everything, that by much. Yes, you get the adjustability, so if you're doing it for that reason, go for it. But as far as dampening and the quality of the stock suspension, like, I don't think it's much of an upgrade to go to a coilover setup. And I may be wrong. I haven't tried all the coilovers out there that are available for this platform, but I just don't think it would be enough of a jump to warrant the price unless you are going for the adjustability, which I could totally, you know, see if that's the case. But yeah. So it definitely, I feel like it's translating a little more sound from the rear right now, just because they are a lot stiffer. So I can see in that aspect they are a lot more firm than the other ones. It's just translating a lot more sound to the front of the cabin right now. But I'm also going 80 miles per hour, so that, let's slow it down a little bit and see what happens. Yeah, it's about the same actually. Maybe a little more. So yeah, anyways, not gonna make this a super long video. I'll try to cut this down as short as possible. I really just did this not for the installation process. The shocks are very easy to get in and out, and you can find tons of videos, and I'll link the best video that I know, the UK kind of Mercedes Doctors channel. So yeah, I didn't want to record a bunch of that stuff. We were trying to do it quick. I just more so wanted to put the review out there because I couldn't find really any info for a sportier application of these shocks being used in a Mercedes. So now it's out there and I can update you guys as I go. with how these, you know, work in the long run. Those shocks that I took out were the stock ones, and they've been on the car since the beginning, and it's at 157,000 miles now, so they lasted a long time. These were about half the price of what another set of socks go for, not the same ones, but yeah, so take that in mind. So if these can last, you know, 80,000 miles, I'd be happy with that. I'd totally be happy with that. So yeah, that being said, thank you guys for checking out the video, and hopefully this is helpful for some. And if you guys have questions about what to, you know, anything related to the KYB Gas-A-Just and this application, feel free to comment down below or message me, and I'll update you guys with progress as the mileage continues. So thank you guys, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.